Ladies and gentlemen, let's make no illusions. Notre Dame is a game you get up for. Everyone gets up for that one because of the name Notre Dame. Okay? Now, let's put a little perspective on this. The last time, in fact, the only time we've won in South Bend, Jimmy's first year in '84, October 6th to be exact, we would beat the Irish 31-13 in that game. In fact, Alonzo Highsmith was a big part of that game. See, now, the last time we were in South Bend, 1990, we lost 29-20, I believe, to the Irish that day. We were number 2 in the country. Notre Dame was number 6. After that game, we would not play the Irish for 20 years until the Sun Bowl. Okay, that team was disinterested. We had fired Randy after the loss to USF the couple weeks before. And then in 2012, you know what happened up at Soldier Field. After a chance to maybe make a statement early, we did not, and Notre Dame blew us out 41-3. And they would play Bama for the title. Now, Notre Dame went 9-4 last year. Let's take it back. My mistake. Notre Dame returns 9 on offense, 4 on offense and 5 on defense. So, but on their old line, they took a major hit. They averaged 208 yards a game on the ground, and they went over 200 yards 6 times. But they have to replace Ronnie Stanley, guard Steve Elmer, and Nick Martin. The former is an All-American. The former one, Stanley, was an All-American. And they protected Zaire well, and then Kaiser after Zaire gets hurt against Virginia. But now, in their camp, you know, if Notre Dame stays with a quarterback and don't play musical chairs, you know, they should be all right. But who's gonna be the guy that makes plays for them? You know, Torrey Hunter Jr. is the only guy back. And they have sophomores in St. Brown, who only caught one pass last year in 7 games, and tight end Elise Jones. And yes, they're going to be potent. Now, our running game will be very tough for Notre Dame to stop because they lose 4 starters on their front 7. Well, they allowed just 175 yards a game last year. However, they get Jaron Jones back at nose tackle, who's recovering from ACL surgery. If we get an advantage in our favor, it's going to be running backs. You know, and with a Rick team, you know, from his years at Georgia, have a great stable of backs. But here's the thing. How does Notre Dame find a way to win time and again? Last year they did it a lot, but they compete. You know, they find ways to win. They win in Charlottesville. They win up in Boston at Fenway against BC, in Philly against Temple. They were very tough against Clemson. They lose to Stanford in the end. Basically, put it this way. A play or two here and there, Notre Dame's in the playoff last year. And think about it, since 2012, they've only lost 3 times at home. That's saying something. That's saying something. Now, I want to look at Notre Dame a little more in depth here. Now, when you see Notre Dame, like I said, they have 2 good quarterbacks, Zaire and Kaiser. Okay. Now, what will Notre Dame be going in before our game with them on October 20th? Hey, what's going on, Tampa? Nice to see you. Now, they have, you know, Jones and Cage back, as well as Rochelle on that line. They have Cole Lake and Max Redfield, and they have a pretty good kicker in Yoon. Now, when you look at Notre Dame, I'm going to tell you this. They have a pretty good tight end in Smythe. And he won't match Jones, but listen, Mark Richt is going nowhere. Okay? Let's put that issue to bed right now. He is not going. Mark Richt is going to be the one leading us back to glory. So I've addressed that issue. Now, back to Notre Dame. Now, Um, they're getting a newcomer in Hayes at linebacker, and they're getting two good receivers in McKinley and Claypool. But I want to see where Notre Dame is. Now, you're absolutely right in this game. We will be an underdog in this game, up only because Notre Dame's lost just 3 times since 2012 at home. I have said, if we're going to lose a game, this might be the one we lose. And I'll tell you why. You know the touchdown Jesus. We all know about the leprechaun. We all know about some thing that tends to maybe tilt it Notre Dame's way. I think because when you look at where we're playing, South Bend, and look at the fact that Notre Dame's going to get some breaks, we all know we're not going to get many breaks up there. I mean, you know the deal with the Gary fumble. That wasn't, mind you, but that's another topic in 88. That's the thing. Is this stage too big? Now, with Golden, I would have said agree. With Richt, I don't see that. I don't see that with Richt. Now, if you were talking Al, another story. Now, we're going to find out what Richt's team is made of when we go up to South Bend. And we're doing it 9 days later. Now, 3:30, I don't know about that. I mean, let's look at it this way. I don't care about the kickoff. To me, that's irrelevant, okay? It's just like Rick said, you play hard, you make plays, see what happens. But there are going to be no more excuses. If Rick is going to win a big game, it would have to be this one. But I'm going to say if we lose, like I said, if we lose one, and I think we may lose one, probably going to lose one game this year, it's this one. Again, because of the fact of who we're playing and the opponent. Now, for that question, with Rick helping find the balls, I got to see where we're going to know about this team after FSU and after really Carolina and Va-Tech. That's the last game in that October stretch. That's where I'm going to find out where this team really is going up to South Bend. That's when I'm going to know. I'm going to really know that. Now, when I look at Notre Dame, people say, maybe they're underrated. Maybe they don't have a lot of depth. Maybe they don't have a lot of weapons. But one thing Notre Dame has is they always find a way to win. They always get a way to win somehow. I don't know how. I don't know what the hell they do, but they find ways to win games that matter. Saludos desde buena desde Argentina. I got to tell you this. To me, I look at Notre Dame. They always seem to find some way to win. I don't know how, but they always find a way, somehow, to win games they shouldn't. It's just fascinating. And see, Notre Dame's going to be in some big games right off the bat. Remember that Sunday night game in Austin against Texas? See, that's going to be a big game right off the bat. So that's what we're going to know about Notre Dame. Now, the keys to Notre Dame's success this year, it's going to be, one, their best players. And then I look at a couple of things. It starts at quarterbacks. We all know that. Like I said, I mentioned those earlier. But the line has to come up big with Stanley gone. They have 3 good starters back. And they get Folston back from a knee injury along with Adams. But they lose Fuller. But see, they have just enough depth to be fine and know they'll be in games and they'll win some games, obviously. Now, their defense, they're good enough to win, but they always find a way to do it. See, that's when I'm going to know. You see, that's when I'm going to know that what if the cure is fully effective after Notre Dame. I'm going to know that. Really, in October, we're going to really know that for sure. Now, the key to Notre Dame's defense It's got to be the run game, stopping the run. They held up well against SC and did a nice job against McCaffrey and Stanford, but it allowed 200 yards or more 5 times. And against Ohio State in the ball game, they got absolutely demolished. And Navy and Georgia Tech just killed them with their option game. Now, if they can hold a team under 200 yards rushing, that's a win for them. But they got to win the turnover margin. They didn't do that last year. Unlike 2 years ago when they forced 23 turnovers. Last year, they dropped off by 9-14. As good as it was, they didn't do enough to take away the ball and change games late. -6 in turnover margin. My friends, when you are minus in turnover margin, you're not going to win. Well, we'll see if Alex Gall plays. I mean, he'd be helping us pretty much. I really believe that. We'll see where Alex Gall is. Let's see. We'll know where he is. I'll know where he is after in fall camp. Let's see where the line is come fall camp and come that first game against FAMU. I think Gall could do something. I think Gall with Searles, I want to see if Alex Gall could step up this year. But that's another matter for another day. I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm going to talk about Notre Dame tonight. Now, this team, to me, is a playoff team, Notre Dame. But they're not as good as a year ago. And their defense, they don't scare you. They don't scare you on both sides of the ball. But what they do is find ways to win. That's what they do. They just find ways to win. I don't know how, but they do it. Now, 2 dangerous road games right off the coast. Texas right off the bat, and then ends at SC. But like I said, we go to South Bend on October 29th. Now, for Notre Dame, there isn't a Clemson-type team on the schedule this year. And there's not one opponent they should be head and shoulders better than. So I'm saying Notre Dame goes 10-2 this year. That's what I think. They go 10-2. Oh, yeah, they'll beat Texas. They're going to beat Texas. Because, I like Charlie Strong, but come on. Texas is still a ways away, but I think they should beat, Notre Dame should beat them. Notre Dame should beat them. Now, if they lose to Texas, doesn't kill their playoff hopes, but the margin for error is gone. Because the reason I'm saying, because Texas got blown out by Notre Dame last year, 38-3. Now, Notre Dame and Texas is going to be out for revenge, and it's in Austin, and it's on a Sunday night. Well, let's see where Texas is. Texas, I think, could be a surprising team this year, but we'll see. I think they'll be a surprising team. Now, look what Notre Dame does. Notre Dame lost 10 fumbles last year. They had 21. They fumbled 21. They lost 10. Their opponents fumbled 16 times, but lost only 5. Okay. I'm going to say this with Notre Dame. I say for us to win, here's why I'm saying for us to win, we'll know where we are, but like I said, if this is a loss, it's here. Only because we have not won in South Bend since 1984. And the breaks tend, those little quirky bounces, little things, I don't know what, could go Notre Dame's way. As good as we are, like I said, if this is a loss, it comes here. But if we win this game, mark it down right now. I think we're going to run the table. We're going to run the table. Yeah, that's the only thing. See, that's what gets me about Kelly. Kelly likes to think, he's going to think we're going to be like the team in 2012 when we went to Chicago and got our asses spanked 41-3. I don't know. There's something about this game really bothers me a little bit, only because of the fact it's up there, and we have not won since 84, and it's a team that just finds the breaks they need to win. This is where I want to be wrong on that Notre Dame prediction beating us, but I gotta think, just because I don't think we'll get the breaks up there, and it's South Bend and it's an NBC game, I get that sense where if there's a loss, it's here. I'm going to go, reluctantly, I'm going to go Notre Dame 28, Canes 24. Be back tomorrow, part 9 of the series. We'll talk about the Pittsburgh Panthers that come to Sun Life on November 5th. Take care. Have a good night.